For more on this discussion, we are joined by Dr. Sergei Dvoryanov, Director of Communications of Brick Culture Media Forum in Moscow, and retired Major General A.K. Sawatch. Thank you very much for joining us. Dr. Dvoryanov, I wanted to come to you first, and I was wondering what makes the area of Shevchenko such an important location in the Donetsk region?
Good evening, Namaste, Namaskar. Thank you for your question. Of course, right now we can see that the movement of Russian army in the eastern part of Ukraine is very fast because of some not logic policy of Mr. Zelensky. And we can see that during this time before inauguration of Donald Trump, Mr. Zelensky, he wants to achieve some publicity that he is doing well during the war. But Ukraine army lost the spirit of win, and war is always strategy. The biggest price which we should pay in our life is a price for the win in the war, in the battlefield. That's why if we are coming to the good example of Vedas and Mahabharata, we can see even Pandavas, they was win in the battlefield Kurukshetra. But for example, famous Saint Draupadi, she lost all her children, and her favorite son from Arjuna, Abhimanyu, was killed very badly and aggressively. That's why war is always tragedy and disaster. And I'm searching your news, I can see that a lot of report about Kumbh Mela in India. We should collect all scientist people, we should collect all spiritual leaders, we should collect all decision makers in Kumbh Mela and pray for peace. That is only one decision. And regarding your question of that strategic point, of course, is an achievement, but it's we can predict that our movement in that part of Ukraine will be faster and faster.
General A.K. Sawatch, I wanted to ask you, Ukrainian forces are reportedly repelling, well, they said they repelled 46 out of 56 of the attacks in the region of the Pokrovsk sector. What challenges do you think the Russian military are encountering on the ground there?
See, the point is, as far as Russia is concerned, it is advancing in eastern Ukraine slowly but surely. There is no doubt they have already captured almost 20% of Ukraine area, especially of Donbass, which include Donetsk and Luhansk, Zaporizhia and Kherson. And Crimea they have taken in 2014 only. But the only success which Ukraine has got it is in Kursk region. No doubt that in Kursk, Ukraine managed to take by surprise 1200 square kilometer, and they are still holding on a majority of it. At least about 60% of that area is still with the Ukraine. So the Ukraine aim is twofold. One is that they do not want to further lose the area in Ukraine, in East Ukraine, and they don't want the Russian to keep on progressing more than what position today it is. And the second thing is that they don't want to lose the area which they have already taken in Kursk, because the area which they have taken in Kursk of the Russia, they think this will be a bargaining chip once we sit down on a negotiating table. Now, this war is basically escalated before de-escalation. What does it mean? It means what is happening is both the sides are trying to escalate it and trying to improve their position as far as possible before Donald Trump takes over on 20th January. The expectations are very high. After Donald Trump takes over, the chances of some sort of a negotiation and ceasefire are very high. May not be immediately, may take some time, may take a month or two, but the chances are very high. So keeping that in mind, both Russia as well as Ukraine is trying to escalate with the aim to improve their position on ground. As far as Russia is concerned, they are thinking that they should be able to take back the area which they have lost in Kursk and also try to gain more area in eastern Ukraine, and they are trying to advance accordingly. But at the same time, the Ukraine has been given now a permission to use the NATO weapons deep inside the Russian territory. Their aim is not to lose much ground in East Ukraine, hold on to their position, trying to hit the Russia
I'm
in the mainland, and also at the same time hold on whatever they have achieved in Kursk. And that is what it is happening as on today. Both are trying to improve their position. It is escalation before de-escalation, especially before Donald Trump takes over on 20th January this year.
Dr. Sergey, I wanted to move to the other development today, which is the Shadow Fleet tanker that's stuck in the Baltic Sea. Does this indicate broader issues in Russia's maritime operations? And what should Russia do to address the environmental risks of this?
You see, you cannot win in the war without loss. And of course, Ukraine try the level best to find any tricky way to make some loss to Russian army. But basically, everybody understands in Europe, in America, in Ukraine itself, everybody understands that no way to stop our military, our army, because our mission is a spiritual mission. We want just only to support population of eastern part Ukraine, which already joined to Russia. It was choice of the nation, and it was already written in our constitution of Russian Federation. And of course, sometimes we have some disaster, some loss, but it will not transform our spirit of win. And right now, all Russian nation sacrifice ourselves. We want this win very much because we are, during all history, we're a nation of winners. Second war, you can see that Russia gave support to all Europe to defeat Nazism. Right now, this Nazism, unfortunately, was reborn again in Ukraine. That is a big paradox, historical paradox. And right now, Mr. Zelensky will be in future in history like a disaster maker, the most shameless personality during the history of Ukraine. And of course, we are feeling pain right now. But it's basically we're burning in the material existence. That is a basic and tell conditions. And but I'm completely optimistic, and I can see that future because of the peacemaking role of current President Donald Trump, President of America, will definitely solve all this problem. And I believe this year will be year of peace.
Thank you very much. General A.K. Sawach, I wanted to ask you about the drone strike on the oil refinery in Tatarstan. Does it indicate vulnerabilities in Russia's infrastructure that are difficult to defend?
Yeah, no doubt. I just want to talk initially about the Shadow Fleet, which you were talking about it. And now the point which is coming is, of course, our guest was trying to convey as that Russia is doing well in the war, no doubt. You see, what has happened is that everyone thought when Russia-Ukraine war took place that the Russia will not able to sustain its economy. And that is the biggest thing, because their economy is dependent on two things. One is that they export gas, oil, and energy, and also as far as the defense equipment is concerned. Now, since last 3 years, everyone thought that they will become more dependent on China, but it has not happened. Their industry is doing well, their domestic industry is doing well, their industrial military complex is working 24/7, and what has happened is, instead of their economy going down, it is robust and it is holding on. That is to the surprise of the Europe, no doubt about it. And their ruble has also become strong compared to dollar. Now, why it has happened? Why it has happened is basically their export is of gas, oil, energy. Of course, the gas and oil could not be sent to the Europe, which was the one which was the biggest buyer. But then countries like China, India and Turkey are buying it. They are now basically utilizing this shadow fleet in the sense because there is a sanction which have been imposed by G7 countries that the export of oil will not be there from Russia. So they are following a shadow fleet, a fleet which is aging, which do not require insurance, which they do not get insurance done, and they trying to take out the oil from the Russian cities and then exporting to all other countries. Now this is slightly dangerous in the sense whether it is Baltic Sea or in the Black Sea, the region is, since these are aging fleet and also they are not basically done as far as their insurance is concerned. So it is dangerous. But then there is no other alternative for Russia because Russia has to ensure that its economy remains relevant. No country can alone fight a war for 3 years. But Russia has fought, no doubt about it. It has surprised the whole world that their economy is still robust and still holding on. So therefore, this is the allegation which is put by the European countries and Ukraine that the Russia is following a shadow fleet. It is utilizing those oil tankers and all which are aging and which are not covered, and they are utilized for exporting the oil from Russian cities to this. At the same time, the Russians are denying that. They are not doing anything of that. What was your next question?
I'm very, very sorry, General Swatch. We've run out of time. Thank you very much to Sergei Dvoryanov and AK Swatch for joining us on that topic.